So today we will discuss energy band model or simply the band model. Now in the energy band model term, most of the times the word energy is actually dropped. So sometimes it is also called the band model. Now this band model is actually try to analyze the electron population in terms of energies possessed by electrons. So there are number of energy levels available in an atom, and how electron population occupy this energy level, this band model actually states that. So in more specific term, we are trying to do how the electrons are distributed over a range of energies, and obviously the excitation is temperature. If we increase the temperature, the energy possessed by the same electron will be higher, and if we decrease the temperature or the excitation, the energy possessed by electrons will be lower. So we are trying to analyze the distribution of electrons over a range of energy at a given temperature. That's why temperature comes into picture. Next, we have to find some way so that we can distribute them and separate the electrons population which are free and separate the electron population which are bound to the atom. All of you know that in an atom of a semiconductor, some electrons are free which can move. That's why current can be generated, and some electrons with the that are bound to the atom or the nucleus that cannot move. So through this model we are trying to separate the electron population which are free and which are bound to the nucleus at a given temperature. The temperature comes into picture each and every tenets. So the energy band model actually stands on three basic tenets. The first tenets is actually describe the allowed energy state. Now in terms of allowed energy state, there are also three statements. The first statement is if only certain energy states are allowed. That means the energy state in an atom are not continuous. The first statement actually tells that the energy state of an atom are not continuous, they are actually discrete. So that's why it is written only certain energy states are allowed, not all of the energy state are allowed where electron can reside. So that principle actually state the energy state are discrete like that where electron can reside. Okay, now out of this allowed energy state, the electrons try to occupy the lowest energy state possible. If there are three energy state, this is the higher energy level 3, this is energy level 2, this is energy level 1, and if one electron is allowed to occupy one of these three energy level, then the electron will obviously occupy the energy level 1. So these statements actually tells that electrons always try to occupy the lowest energy states possible. And next allowed energy state statement is that no two electron can occupy the same energy states. That is the Pauli's exclusion principle. It actually states that if there is a discrete energy level resides in an atom where electron can occupy, that energy state is only possessed by a single electron. Okay, so that means in this energy level no other electron can reside. So that is the statement that no two electrons can occupy the same energy state, and that is also called famously Pauli's exclusion principle. Okay, so that is all about the allowed energy state, substatements of the allowed energy state. Next is distribution of states over energy. That means if this is your energy level and the states are allowed like that. Okay, so there are different energy state available for the different energy. So through this model we are trying to analyze also that the distribution of the second tenet is actually tells that the distribution of allowed state over energy. That means how many energy levels are available for the electrons to occupy. So that distribution is actually tells, and distribution is actually represented by n is the electron distribution or the energy state distribution, and E is the energy. So distribution is actually is a function of energy, that is represented by Ne. So the distribution of allowed state over energy, that is the second tenet. And the third tenet is that at a given temperature and under equilibrium condition, only a fraction of allowed state are occupied, and that is also called the Fermi-Dirac distribution function, F, E and T. That means if there are number of energy states are available in an atom, out of the all energy state, not all of the energy state are occupied at a given temperature and under equilibrium. Only suppose there are 10 energy state available, so if our excitation is T, then the electron will occupy, all of the electron population excited or the free electrons will occupy only certain energy level, not of the all energy level. So if there is 10 energy level, that at a given temperature T, only 2 energy level are occupied. Okay, not all energy level are occupied at a given excitation level. So that is the famous Fermi-Dirac distribution function. So with the help of these three tenets, we are trying to plot or analyze this conduction band, how the valence band is formed and how this conduction band is formed, like that. We are trying to analyze this diagram with the help of this energy band model. So this is the first foundation step or the three basic tenets of this energy band model. So out of these three energy band model tenets, the first two tenets, that means the allowed energy state and the distribution of allowed state over the energy, these two tenets is actually comes from quantum mechanics. And the last statements, that means the at any temperature T under equilibrium, only a fraction of allowed state are occupied, that is the Fermi-Dirac distribution function, that is derived from statistical mechanics. So the band diagram actually tries to merge the quantum mechanics and the statistical mechanics and present the result in a very coherent form. So before discussing the band model or the energy band model of a semiconductor, we take up the example of silicon here. So we know the silicon has 14 electrons. Okay, now the distribution of electrons of any atoms is related to this Bohr model. Now in the Bohr model, you can see that this is a nucleus and electrons can occupy at a certain discrete energy level. This is called the principal quantum number. That means this is n equal to 1, small n equal to 1, this is small n equal to 2, this is small n equal to 3. Now in the according to this theory, the distribution of electrons over these energy states obey some sort of formula, and that formula is 2 into n square. Okay, so if this is your silicon nucleus, the distribution of silicon electrons like that. Okay, so this is n equal to 1, this is n equal to 2, this is n equal to 3. So for any atom, if the distribution is like that, for n equal to 1, the maximum electron can decide is 2, and for n equal to 2, the maximum electron can decide is 4, and for n equal to 3, the maximum electron can decide is 18. Sorry, this is not 4, this is 8. Okay, so and this is the general formula for electrons population of any energy level according to this model. Okay, now also there is a saying that for the outermost electrons, suppose the silicon atomic number is 14, so first principal number quantum number only 2 electron can decide, in the second only 8 electron can decide, so there is remaining 4 electrons. Okay, and for the outermost electron, outermost shell of the electrons, whatever may be the formula, only 8 electron can at most resides. Okay, so this is the general saying that in that case, for the outermost shell of the electrons, this formula does not holds true. Okay, so in the outermost shell electrons, only maximum 8 electron can decide. So in this case, Here is 2 electron energy level available, all of these 2 are occupied. Here 8 electron energy level are available, 8 electrons are occupied. Here only 8 electron energy level are available, only 4 electrons are occupied out of these 8 energy levels. Okay, so that is the first thing about that. And also if we look into the silicon in a deep manner, then you can see that out of these 14 electrons, there is a distribution of electrons. The principal quantum number is n equal to 1, and it is divided like that: 1 s2, 2 s2, 2 p6, 3 s2, 3 p2, like that. So this is principal quantum number 1, this is 2, n equal to 2, and this is for n equal to 3. So all of these level are again subdivided into subcell, that is S, P, and if you go further, this is S, P, D, like that. So this is the electron arrangement for the silicon atom, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, and 3p2. Okay, so this is the distribution of electrons of the silicon atom. Now with the understanding of this, we try to analyze the energy band model. Now start with the picture. We start with the picture of an isolated atom. Now you know, in an atom there are number of atom is a system. Actually there is no isolated atom actually can reside there. Always there is an n atom system, but for the simplicity we will start with the picture of an isolated silicon atom as an example, and try to plot the allowed energy state of a single isolated atom. Then we go for the n atoms and bring down the distance, interatomic distance, that so in a crystal, you know, if there is a crystal, suppose there is a crystal, okay, so in that crystal there is always n atom. Now for the understanding or the simplification of the understanding, we will start with the single atom. So we will consider only there is a single silicon atom, and next and plot the energy level of that silicon atom. Okay, and then we bring that there is a, suppose there is a interatomic distance between the silicon atom system. If there is a n atom system in a silicon crystal, there must be some interatomic distance between the two silicon atom. And for the energy band model, plotting of the energy band model, we first plot the energy band model of a single isolated silicon atom, and then we try to reduce the interatomic distance between the silicon atom, and then we see how the energy band model actually behave if we reduce the interatomic distance between the silicon atom. That is actually happens in a crystal. Okay, so we will first start the picture with an isolated silicon atom, and then we go for n atom system. Now in a crystal, n atom are all regularly arranged, and if we start, suppose this is your one atom, and this is one atom, this is atom, this is atom, they are all regularly arranged within a system, silicon crystal. Okay, crystal may be considered as system. Now first we consider a single silicon atom and try to draw a picture what are the allowed energy state for this atom. Next we will reduce the interatomic distance of the silicon atom and progressively see how the picture will change to a band diagram. Now if we follow this approach, we have to sketch a diagram like this, where the x-axis denotes the atomic separation, and this is the increasing atomic separation between the atoms, and y-axis denotes the available energies or the electron energies, how this picture will look like. Now let me build up this system. We are trying to plot it for n atom system, where n atom are regularly arranged, we first start with a very large or infinite separation. So large or infinite separation means we are considering the distance between this silicon atom and this silicon atom is very much high, that means infinite. And what is the meaning of this infinite distance? That means there is no interaction between the energy level of these two atoms, which is the main responsible factor for band formation. Okay, so first we considering these two silicon atoms, the distance between the two silicon atoms of a crystal is infinite, so that there is no interaction between the energy level of these two silicon atom. So we first plot the single silicon atom system. So for a single silicon atom, all of you know that the 14 electron are there, and the arrangement of electrons are like that: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p2. Now 1s2 is lying close to the nucleus, the interatomic, so the distance of the nucleus and 1s2 is very much less. After that there is a increasing distance like this. Okay, so this is principal quantum number 1, this is 2, this is 3. So distance is increasing from the nucleus in a increasing fashion. Now here we are plotting the single silicon atom structure. So you can see from the diagram that for the 1s level there are only at most 2 energy states are available, and within that energy level we are describing this or denoting the energy level, that there is the 2 electron, this is the 1s2 energy level, and within that energy level only 2 electron states are available, and this yellow is actually representing that these 2 energy state is actually occupied by the electrons. So for this level only 2 electrons are available, 2 electrons energy levels are available here, and all of this energy level are filled up by electrons. Next go into the 2s2 state. Same picture is here, there is only 2 energy level are available, and this yellow color is actually represented that these 2 energy level are filled. Like this the same 2p6 level, 6 energy states are available, all of them are filled. Next 3s2, there is also 2 energy level and 2 electrons are filling the only 2 states available. Now the different picture comes into the 3p state. Now in the 3p state I have said that for any atom system, at the outermost electrons only 8 electrons can at most resides. Okay, so theoretically for the principal quantum number 3 the formula is 3n square. So for the 3n square only 18 electrons at most can available. Okay, but this formula does not holds true for the outermost cell electrons. I have already said that. So for the outermost cell electrons only 8 electrons are available. So out of these 8 electrons you can say that only 4 electron states are occupied. So 1 2 3 4, 1 2, this is 3s2, this is all are occupied, and out of this 6 electron state only 2 are occupied. So 1 2 3 4, 4 are remain vacant. So this is the picture of a single isolated silicon atom. Okay, so this is the highest energy level, 3 energy level, this is the highest or increasing energy level. Okay, so this is the increasing energy level and this is the decreasing energy level. Now if we look closely for a single silicon atom system, then you can see that for the last cell of the electrons, the out of the 8 states only 4 are filled up and remaining 4 are remain vacant. So this is the case for single silicon atom system. Now if we plot the band diagram for a n atom system, okay, so there are two, if you look into the 1s state, there are only for a single electron silicon system 2 energy states are available, 2 electrons are occupied. For this is 2 electron states are available, 2 are occupied, 6 available, 6 are occupied. Here 2 are available, 2 are occupied. Here also 6 are available, but out of this only 2 are filled up. Now if you go for the n atom system, it is only multiplied by n. Okay, for the n atom system, this is the picture. Here 2n states are available, 2n filled up. Here also 2n available for the 2s state, 2n filled up. And for the last cell there are 8n state available, and out of these 4n state are filled up. So that is the picture for the n atom system. But if you look closely in view of the Pauli's exclusion principle, that here I have plotted for the simplicity purpose, that for this any single level, energy level, we are plotting, suppose this is your 1s state and we are here plotting the 2 electrons at the same energy state, but that is not true. Okay, because Pauli's exclusion principle actually states that no 2 electron can have the same energy. So this picture is actually can look like this. There is a very small separation of energy, and 1 electron resides here, 1 electron resides here. But for the simplicity purpose, we are assume that for a single silicon system, this is the state where 2n energy states for a single level, and 2n electrons are available. 2 electron states are available, and the 2n electron states are filled up. Okay, now if we progressively, this is the atomic separation, reduction of the atomic separation here the increasing of the atomic separation. Now if we reduce the atomic separation between the atoms, like atoms goes into this, so first of all this 3s and 3p state going to interact with each other because they are the outer shell. Okay, next 2s2 and 2p state going to interact, and if we reduce further, the 1s state of the different atoms going to interact, energy level of the 1s state will of the different atom will going to interact with each other. So that is the first foundation step of the interaction of the energy states of the different atom. That is the first foundation step for the formation of the energy band diagram.